Hello, and thank you for tuning in to this week's DSL Online. Today we are going to be covering how to hold the saxophone and the names of all of the keys.
How are you? How are you?
So the two things that this video is going to cover today are going to be, one, how to hold the saxophone, where should your fingers actually go on the instrument, and two, what are the names of the keys that you're pressing down. They actually do have names, and it gets confusing sometimes because everyone wants to call a different name. Some people go 1 2 3 1 2 3. Some people, I don't know, go, hey, push down second right hand finger. I don't know. So we are going to set a standard system right from the beginning, and the system that we are going to be using is called the French system. Let's jump into it. So this first key, that is going to be called X. It may look a little different on every saxophone, but you'll notice when you press it down, it lifts all this stuff here. That is X. This next key, that is called 1. You'll see it on the chart. This is 1. This is where your first finger is going to go, just like that. And you notice my thumb on the back side is just resting right on this black thing here. It's not always going to be black, it could be metal sometimes. It's not pressing this thing, it's just sitting right there. And my palm is not pressing these down, it's just resting on top. This is going to be called B, or bis. Some people will call this P. It has all sorts of different names. The most standard name that we will use is just bis. The bis key is not going to be pressed or covered. Notice my finger skips that one when I'm holding the saxophone. This next key, it's 1 2 3 4th down, is going to be 2. Next, we've got number 3. Right there, and that's where your third finger is going to go. So we've got X, first finger on 1, skip, bis. So my middle finger is going to be on 2, and then my ring finger there on 3. And notice my pinky isn't going to be pushing any of these down, but it's just going to sit on top of that like it's a table. And we're going to go over those a little bit later, what these are. So now we've covered the left hand position on the saxophone. So now let's go over the right hand position on the lower half of the saxophone. This next key is going to be 4. And that's your first finger, index finger, is going to rest on that. Your thumb is going to rest on the hook right here on the back of the saxophone. Okay, this next key, this is going to be called 5, and that's where your middle finger will go. So you've got 4, 5, thumb. Then we have 6. That is where your ring finger will go. So the total is going to look like that. 4, 5, 6. Thumb resting on the back. And then your pinky, just like before, is going to rest on this table. Not pushing any of the keys down, but just resting on it like a table. So if you want to go back and go over the fingerings again, I'll have a chart with all of the French key names available on my website underneath the video as well, so you can check those out, quiz yourself, and maybe really make sure you're learning those names. Yeah, and then besides for that, that about concludes this video. I'm going to release a follow-up video that is going to go over the rest of the keys, all of the more strange keys and the weirder named keys and the more, I don't want to say obscure, but the less obvious keys, let's say. So that'll be coming up next. Look forward to that. I also want to throw out a quick disclaimer. I realized after the fact that I kind of did episodes 6 and 7 a little bit out of order. Really, you should listen to this episode 7, before going to episode 6, because you have to know how to hold the saxophone before you can play the saxophone. So just keep that in mind when you're going through the videos, that 6 and 7 should really be switched, and I'm sorry about that. As always, thank you for listening, and happy practicing.
How are you? How are you?